Brain. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G33. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast. Here tonight with your WWE Clash of Champions 2020 full show review and results. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me right here on the podcast, man. Not gonna lie, you guys know I'm always honest with you guys. I am a little bit soured. Not specifically because of WWE. You know, we're going to get into everything that happened with Clash of Champions tonight. There's actually a lot for us to discuss. And, you know, this could easily, I don't know, hopefully it's not, but I could easily go 2 hours tonight on the podcast. But I'm a little depressed because before, one of the reasons why I usually go live right after, you know, a pay-per-view, like I already have everything all set up and ready to go. But I was watching the ending of the Celtics and Heat game. If you guys know, I live here in the Boston area, and I am a huge Celtics fan. And unfortunately, you know, my Celtics got knocked out by the Miami Heat in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. And Miami will be going on to go up against LeBron James and the LA Lakers in the NBA Finals. So a little disappointed, a little bit sad, but my team did great this year, you know, with Kemba, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, all them boys did a great job. There's a lot of people that had them going, you know, getting eliminated in the second round, but the fact that they were able to, you know, push the Heat to 6 games, man, and, you know, just we're this close to make it to the finals. Just wanted to take a second, you know, congratulate them on everything they did this year, and, you know, I'm hoping Celtics re-sign Jason Tatum. All right, but the future is bright for the Celtics, and I definitely think, you know, in the next 5 years, we'll definitely have a championship to show for it. But I just wanted to speak on that really quick, man. A little disappointed about my Celtics, but still, we're you know, that's a conversation we can have another day. This isn't an NBA podcast. This is a wrestling podcast, the #1 podcast in the IWC. All right, and the big thing coming out of Clash Champions, 2 things. The return of the best female wrestler in the world, Sasha Banks. She made her return tonight at Clash Champions. I posted a live reaction to Sasha's return. I didn't do a live reaction stream, but I put my camera on, my iPhone camera. I used my iPhone camera for that video, but I turned my camera on just in case Sasha was coming back, and she did. So if you guys want to check out my live reaction to Sasha returning, make sure to check that out after the podcast. Right now, it's doing pretty well on the channel. I'm checking out right now. So thank you guys for the support on that quick little video. But the big thing is Sasha's back, and it's basically set in stone that we're going to be getting Sasha versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. Most of us predicted this was going to be happening. I've done fancy booking on this, and now we have a whole month just to build towards Sasha and Bayley, which in my opinion should be the main event of Hell in a Cell, no questions asked. All right? But we'll talk about Sasha Banks a lot on tonight's podcast when we get there. We're also going to talk about the WWE Draft. The WWE Draft was announced tonight. It will be 2 days. It will be taking place or starting on October 9th on SmackDown, which is about a week and a half away. And the second day of the draft will be taking place on Monday Night Raw 3 days afterwards in the WWE Thunderdome. So we will be talking a little bit about the draft as we go through the pay-per-view. We're going to talk about some superstars and where I believe they should go. But I have one request for the WWE Draft. The only request I have is that you merge the tag team divisions. You know, you can make an argument that the women's divisions should be merged, but the women's divisions, I think they're fine on their own, especially with what's going on with Sasha and Bayley. I feel like you should keep those women's divisions separate for right now. But the one request I have for the WWE Draft is that the tag team divisions be merged. The tag team divisions, you guys have heard me bitch and moan about this all year. Not just this year, but for the last 3-4 years, I've been bitching about this. The tag team divisions, and this includes NXT. The tag team division is easily the weakest part of the main roster, weakest part of the entire company. You know, and it's because WWE's always breaking up teams, or teams are injured, or whatever. But WWE needs to merge the tag team divisions. That's my one big request for the WWE draft. So we'll be talking about the draft a little bit as we go through the podcast, as we review the show tonight. The other big thing I want to talk about, other than Sasha and other than WWE draft, is Roman Reigns' heel turn. You guys, especially for you long-term viewers of the podcast, you guys know my thoughts on Roman Reigns. You guys know how I've been saying for years that Roman should be heel. He should not be wearing a vest. He needs to come up with suits. And I got to say, even though it was obvious what was going to happen tonight with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, they did it. The story there. The match was good, but it was the story that made this match great. Made the match great, and I'm loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns' heel turn. I loved everything about that main event tonight, and we're going to discuss it here right on the podcast, man, and where they should go with Roman Reigns. Even though it seems a little bit obvious where they're going with Roman Reigns and what's going to be planned for him at Hell in a Cell, but still, we're going to discuss it and, everything that could be happening right here tonight on the Legit Shoot Podcast. As always, guys, thank you guys for joining me, all right? I know this week, if you guys saw the channel this week, it was kind of dry. I didn't post many videos this week. I had the Monday Night Raw review, and then I didn't post another video till I believe earlier this afternoon. I have some things going on with school right now, and I got a little bit busy, but I have videos planned for every day this week. So every day this week, we're going to have content from wrestling to anime to all these other things. So it's going to be a content-filled week here on the podcast, on the channel. So if you guys are not subscribed already, hit the like button. First of all, hit the like button. It gets the podcast to other people who need to be educated, all right, because there's too many casual fucks in the WWE community these days. Also, hit the subscribe. Yeah, I'm getting my words all jumped up. But hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. This is one of the best channels in the entire community, and I know that everyone that's watching the chat can say that. So definitely, man, make sure you guys subscribe and have the bell enabled so you guys don't miss a video. All right. Thank you guys to everyone who's following me down on social media. Some of you guys contacted me on social media this week. I love interacting with my subscribers, man. So definitely follow me on social media. The links to that are in the description down below. Like I said, I didn't live tweet as much as I usually do during a WWE event. It was because I was watching the Celtics game and watching the pay-per-view at the same time. Plus, my fantasy football team is struggling right now with all these injuries. So definitely, I just want to get those little things out of the way. So let me look at the chat. Let me see how we rolling. What's going on? Edward, Christopher, Ashley, PJ, Chewbacca, Jazz. I see you guys. Definitely, if you guys are in the chat, man, definitely just say hello. I love you guys, so much. Definitely, I love when you guys are interacting and, saying stuff in the chat. No matter if you guys are watching on demand, thank you guys for joining me as well. But definitely, guys, let's get into Clash of Champions, man. We got a lot to talk about. A lot. So, Stimpy, I saw you in the chat, my brother. Good to see you as well. All right. So, let's get into it. So, like I said, there was a lot happening today with Clash of Champions. So around 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, there was reports going out about, remember, there was supposed to be a women's tag team title match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the current women's tag team champions, against the Riot Squad. That match was called off. And then also, Nikki Cross was supposed to face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That match got called off as well. It seems obvious that this is probably because of something having to do with COVID. You would never have, all those superstars being called off, right before a pay-per-view if it wasn't for something serious. So, I'm going to say that's most likely because of COVID, but we haven't been given the reason of that. I know WWE does like to keep their positive COVID results private, so it makes sense there. But I'm just checking Twitter real quick if there was any updates on that. Nothing too big. Hold on. My boy Scott posting them Sasha Banks Star Wars memes. So, give you guys 1 second here. All right, anyway, all right, my bad, guys. My bad. But yeah, that was the big thing. First of all, let's be serious here. It's not I didn't really care. I didn't really care about Bayley Nikki Cross. You guys heard me say this the last couple weeks. Nobody cared. Like we've seen Nikki Cross and Bayley how many times throughout the summer. So it wasn't like they were gonna do anything different in this match that they haven't done in the last year, right? And with the women's tag team titles, I wanted the Riot Squad to win this match, especially because I am a fan of Liv Morgan. I don't mind Ruby Riott either, and definitely they deserve it. You guys know I never thought that Nia Jax. First of all, Nia Jax sucks. I say this every single podcast, but yeah, Nia Jax sucks, and Shayna Baszler, I feel like she should be in a singles role. So that's my thoughts on that. But okay, here I found what I was. Okay, I found what I was looking for. So basically, I went on Nia Jax's Twitter. Yeah, this is like the only time I would ever go on Nia Jax's Twitter. All right, but I'm looking at it, and Nia said, so there was a thing that said Nia Jax and Nikki Cross have not been medically cleared to compete tonight at WWE Clash from WWE's YouTube page or Twitter page. Nia Jax says lies. All right, so I don't know. You have a WWE superstar here saying that's a lie, that they weren't medically cleared. Like the obvious reason would be because of COVID, of course, but I guess not. So Nia put on her Twitter that my tag partner is expecting. So her tag partner is Shayna Baszler. I didn't even know Shayna Baszler. I didn't know. Does she have a boyfriend? Is she married? I don't know. I don't keep up with Nia Jax's, or not Nia Jax. I don't keep up with Shayna Baszler's personal life. But there's no way. I'm looking in the comments. There's people saying that Shayna Baszler is lesbian. Like, I'm looking at the comment section. Everyone's shocked. Like, I'm shocked too. And you guys know I don't give a damn about Nia Jax, you know. But think about it is, why would Nia, you know, unless you wanted to troll people and, you know, maybe troll because the whole Becky Lynch, you guys remember Becky Lynch relinked the Raw Women's Championship because she was pregnant. Maybe she's joking around here. But I don't know. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the story. Definitely we have the Monday Night Raw review. So if you guys enjoyed the podcast tonight and you guys are new to the channel, not only subscribe, but make sure you guys join me because we'll be right back here tomorrow night live with the Monday Night Raw review. But you know, whatever news we get, we'll probably get something tomorrow updating us on this. But I don't think, you know, Shayna's pregnant or anything like that. I think it's because of COVID. That makes the most sense. But I'll keep you guys updated because of the story. We'll see what happens. But I know some of you guys were asking, so I just want to give my thoughts on that really quick. So I'll keep you guys updated with that. And yeah. But let's get into the actual card. On the pre-show, we had Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Lucha House Party. You know, if you guys have been watching SmackDown the last couple weeks, the Lucha House Party has had some tension. So WWE teasing once again that they're going to break up another tag team. Yeah, another tag team, bro. The biggest issue right now with the entire main roster and NXT is the tag team divisions. There's no teams. No teams. We know that the Usos, one of the members of the Usos are injured right now. Big E's doing his solo thing because Xavier's out with injury and Kofi took some time off. We know on Monday Night Raw there's no tag teams. AOP was just released. Gallows and Anderson are in Impact. Like, there is no tag team on the main roster, and now here you are teasing more attention with another team. And the thing about it is they've been doing the same thing on Monday Night Raw with Andrade and Angel Garza. Like, this company, I really don't understand their logic. They don't understand that their tag team division is the weakest that it's ever been. But here they are, you know, teasing the breakup of another tag team. I'm not a big fan of Lucha House Party, right? But they don't need to be breaking up. Why do they need to be broken up? For what reason? What sense does that make? Like, when you have no tag teams whatsoever, like, we don't even know when the Forgotten Sons are going to come back to WWE. Plus, you have Heavy Machinery. You have almost nobody on SmackDown's roster. You have nobody on your main roster tag team list to begin with. And Survivor Series is in a couple months. What do you plan on doing then? It's ridiculous, bro. And just had to put my chair up a little bit. That's a lot better. But like it doesn't make any sense. Any sense, man. All right. But anyway, I didn't watch the pre-show. I do know that Nakamura and Cesaro did win. I believe Nakamura hit actually no, Cesaro had Kalisto in the swing, and he landed right into a Nakamura Kinshasa for the win to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So I don't know what's next. You know, like I've been saying, and we have the draft on October 9th. Merge the damn tag team divisions. It's that simple. It's that simple. Merge the tag team divisions. That's my analysis for this match. I don't know what else y'all want me to say. It's really that simple at the end of the day. That simple. All right. But I heard the match was okay. You know, whatever. I'm not gonna go back and rewatch it. But merge the tag team divisions. Because the only challengers, because now that Cesaro and Nakamura had beat the Lucha House Party clean, the only, challengers that they could potentially have is Heavy Machinery. And they're doing that absolutely awful story right now with Heavy Machinery going up against Mrs. Morrison with the whole Money in the Bank contract dispute. It's horrendous. And nobody gives a shit about it. So what I would do is, maybe have Heavy Machinery lined up to face, Nakamura and Cesaro. It's not like, Otis is cashing in anytime soon. You think Otis is going to cash in on Roman Reigns, especially with how Roman Reigns is being built up right now? Please, get out of here with that. All right. So I would do Heavy Machinery versus Cesaro and Nakamura, but that's about it. That's my thoughts on that. But what WWE should be doing is merging the tag team divisions. Merge them. Anyway, getting into the main card, and I don't know if I said this already, but this was not a bad pay-per-view. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't anything special, but it was not a bad pay-per-view. The way the pay-per-view started and the way the pay-per-view ended were great. And plus, you had the Sasha and Bayley stuff in between. It was great. Plus, the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre match was pretty good for the way it was produced. All right. So, all in all, this was a pretty good pay-per-view. But, let's talk about it. So, the night started with the IC title match, triple threat, Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. I know I didn't do a Clash of Champions prediction stream, but I did say this a couple weeks ago that Sami Zayn should be the one to win at Clash of Champions. And I gotta say, this was one of the best ladder matches I have ever seen. Ever. And I've seen a lot of them. Trust me. There's so many that come up to mind, but this is definitely when we look back in a couple months, because it's going to be December here in a little bit. When we look back at the best matches of the year, this is the match that's going to be in this conversation. It's going to be in the conversation. This match was absolutely incredible. And the ending, with what they did with Sami Zayn tonight, I gotta applaud. I don't know who was responsible for booking the match, but I gotta give WWE credit where credit is due. I didn't care about the story that much going in, especially Friday on SmackDown. They gave us this match. They gave us Sami Zayn and AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy Friday on SmackDown. It was a normal triple threat match, but the only difference here was they added ladders. But this match, blows away anything they did Friday on SmackDown. These three men absolutely destroyed each other. And the intensity, everything, man. Everything was there. And they deserve all the credit. Whoever produced this match, they deserve all the credit in the world. This was great. This was great. So, basically, getting into it, and I want to get into when Celery. So I'm not gonna go through everything that happened in this match, but because there was so much that did happen. But I'm gonna go from the first ladder attempt. So Styles was the first to attempt going after the belts above the ring, but we saw Zayn pulling back down. And we saw Zayn, he sent Styles onto a ladder with an exploder suplex. Brutal. So then we saw Zayn slowly climb up the ladder. Styles launched a step ladder him. So, like, legit, AJ like a quarterback. I know AJ's son plays football, but AJ doing his best quarterback impersonation, his best Tom Brady impression. He takes a ladder. It was one of the mini ladders, but he takes a ladder and just chucks it at Sami Zayn, prestige accuracy, and it knocked Zayn off the ladder. Loved it. So then we saw Styles and Hardy. They climbed both sides of the ladder, and then they ended up tipping it over, taking both of them out. So then we saw Hardy again. He took out both opponents at once when he puts over a ladder to knock Zayn off and take Styles out mid-air. We also saw there was a point in the match where Hardy was on top of a ladder, right? And Zayn was trying to tip the ladder frontwards. So basically like a little spider, Jeff Hardy is like, you know, trying to navigate the ladder, I forget, it's like spikes or pews, whatever you want to call it. So he's like trying to navigate through the ladder to keep himself from, you know, taking too much damage. But then the way Zayn tips the ladder, he tips it out of the ring. The ladder falls outside the ring with Hardy on it, and it looked like a brutal spill. I would have not been surprised if Hardy got some kind of neck injury from that. But Hardy was able to get back up and get back in the fight. So then we saw Hardy put Zayn on a bridge, and he hit a swanton bomb. Brutal. It was beautiful but brutal at the same time. The sound that the ladder made when Hardy made impact on Zayn, absolutely devastating. This probably looked better than the swanton bombs Hardy did at WrestleMania. What was it? 33 a couple years ago, back when him and Matt Hardy first returned. You know, the only thing that was better was the environment because it was at WrestleMania. But this spot was probably better than the spot Hardy did at WrestleMania a couple years back. This was absolutely brutal and done to perfection. So at this point, I thought Styles was going to win the match because Zayn and Hardy looked out, but we saw Styles climb, but Hardy made it back into the ring to push Styles off the ladder. Then, the best part of the match, Sami Zayn has handcuffs. I don't know where the hell he got them, but he has handcuffs, and he grabs the handcuffs. He attaches the handcuffs to Jeff Hardy's ear. You guys remember a couple years ago when Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy were feuding? Remember when Randy Orton like stuck his finger in Jeff Hardy's earlobe and it looked like Hardy was almost going to have his ear pulled off? It was something similar to that here in this situation. So we see, you know, Hardy has his ear legit handcuffed to a ladder. So legit, if he's not careful, remember the ladders are heavy. Not only are they large, but they're heavy. So if Hardy's not careful, he would have had part of his ear legit ripped off. So he had to get off very carefully. So that already put a handicap on Zayn. Not Zayn, on Hardy. So then Zayn gets back into the ring. And then he tries to handcuff Styles to the ring rope, but Styles fought out of it. But then Zayn ended up handcuffing himself. So Sami Zayn handcuffed himself to AJ Styles to keep him from climbing the ladder because, you know, Sami Zayn's a big dude. That guy's over 200 pounds. Styles is not going to be able to, you know, climb up the ladder, you know? So not only does Zayn put a handicap on Sami Zayn, but he also, or not Zayn, Sami Zayn not only puts a handicap on Hardy, he also puts a handicap on AJ Styles. So this was brilliant. No matter how weird and odd it looked, this was genius strategy by the Great Liberator. So then Hardy dragged himself and the ladder into the ring by his ear. Styles tried to climb the ladder with Zayn on his shoulders, kind of like, you know, in the fireman carries position. So then the Liberator had the key in his mouth. So Sami Zayn had the key in his mouth, took it out, unlocked himself from Styles, and then handcuffed Styles to the ladder. So then Zayn's now free while Styles is handcuffed to the ladder, climbs the ladder. You know, Hardy can't do anything because he's handcuffed to to another ladder. So Zayn climbs, grabs the titles, and is now the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. This was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. I knew going in that Sami Zayn should have won the match. Because Sami Zayn has one of the best characters on the main roster. I love his character. I love his work. Even though I do miss babyface Sami Zayn, what he's doing now is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. And we all know Sami Zayn took those, a couple months away. And he was gone for the last 4 months, because of COVID and all that. But I love the story going on here because if Zayn had lost this match, if Hardy or Styles, it didn't matter who, if one of those two men had won the IC title tonight, right, where do you go with Zayn's character? You would just have him coming out bitching saying this was injustice, the match should have not taken place to begin with. But now that Zayn won the match, this adds a whole new element to his character. Him coming up with that strategic approach, willing to do anything, coming up with tactics that no one would ever think of, makes him look that much better. He really is a genius. He really comes out of this looking like a genius, and I love it. I cannot wait to see what Sami says, on SmackDown this Friday, man. Really, I love what he's doing. He deserves this. I'm happy that Sami Zayn is finally getting booked the way he should have been. When he won that IC title back in February from Braun Strowman, I thought he was going to lose the title at WrestleMania. I thought his first main roster singles championship run was only going to last a month, but I'm glad it hasn't. WWE needs to realize that they have a gold character. They have gold with Sami Zayn here, bro. And I think Zayn should carry that championship throughout the rest of the year. I don't know. They could easily do Zayn versus Styles at Hell in a Cell. They could do Zayn versus Hardy. They may do another triple threat match for all we know. We don't know because we have no idea because the rosters are going to look completely different in a couple weeks thanks to the WWE draft. There's a chance, who knows, maybe Zayn goes to Monday Night Raw and they bring Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business to SmackDown. That is a possibility. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and find out. But like I said, what they did tonight with Sami Zayn was genius. This was easily one of the best ladder matches of all time. Easily. The only thing that I wish could have been is they had a crowd. Yes, you could say they had the Thunderdome crowd, whatever. But if they had that actual live crowd there, imagine the crowd booing Sami Zayn out of the building. That would have been great. But this was fantastic. Zayn, Styles, Hardy, all should be proud, and I'm happy that Sami Zayn walked out of here with the victory. We'll see what's next planned for him, but fantastic ladder match to start the show. I can't stop saying good enough things about this match, man. Absolutely fantastic. So moving on. We had Asuka versus Zelina Vega for the Raw Women's Championship. This match, I'm going to be honest, this match should not be taking place. I love Zelina Vega. I love Asuka. You guys know this. And I'm happy that Zelina Vega got this opportunity. But at the end of the day, she hasn't been booked correctly to even be put in the position to get this opportunity. I don't care who you are. If you're not booked properly, you shouldn't be getting championship opportunities. You have Bianca Belair, and you guys know I said, Bianca Belair. They keep putting her on WWE main event when she should be on Monday Night Raw, getting victories and being built up to, eventually win the Raw Women's Championship. I believe you should build, build Bianca Belair to win that championship at WrestleMania next year. Will that happen? I don't know. But I read a report that Vince McMahon legit forgot that Bianca Belair and Peyton Royce were on the Raw Women's roster. So I don't know. I don't know. This match was better than I expected it to be. And, there was some flaws. I'm not going to lie. Zelina Vega looked really good. And I'm happy that she got this opportunity, even though I don't think she really shouldn't have gotten it. But she looked good in there. But the thing that, took away from this match actually being better, it felt like Asuka was trying too hard to make Zelina Vega look good. Zelina Vega can wrestle, and we know Asuka, she's one of the best female wrestlers in the world. In my opinion, she's the second best right behind Sasha Banks. But It felt like Asuka was trying too hard to make Zelina look good, because there was a couple points it looked like Asuka was looking back at Zelina like, do this move, even though it looked like Zelina knew what she was doing. It's just like the pacing just wasn't there. And clearly we're going to get another match between these two, because the end of the match clearly is setting up for this rivalry to continue. But Zelina was never supposed to win this match. There was rumors saying that they wanted Asuka versus Natalya or Asuka versus Mickey. So Zelina was like a last minute announcement, but I'm happy that she made the most out of the opportunity that was given to her. She deserves this, and I hope that WWE continues to push her going forward, because she is talented. Yes, she was great as a manager, but she looked really good in the ring tonight. And you guys know I love Zelina Vega, man. So I would love to see her continue to be built up. She has the character, she has the charisma, right? She's not bad in the ring. She can get a lot better, and there's definitely some things that she can't do because of her size, but still, she did great in her performance tonight, and I'm proud of her, and I'm happy that she got the opportunity, even if she didn't necessarily deserve it, all right? But Zelina did a lot of moves on Asuka here, a lot of near falls, and Asuka just kept kicking out. It looked like Asuka was like shocked at what Zelina was doing. But Zelina was also a little bit shocked that Asuka kept kicking out. So Zelina went for a submission, but Asuka out of nowhere made Zelina submit. It was like Zelina tapped in like 3 seconds. She didn't stay in the hold long, but Asuka made Zelina tap out with the Asuka lock. After the match, Charlie Caruso called or interviewed Asuka. Asuka called Zelina Vega a firecracker, all right? And then Zelina Vega got back in the ring. Asuka offered, a handshake out of sportsmanship, out of respect for, because Zelina did impress a lot of people tonight. It looked like Zelina was going to go for the handshake, but then she pulled back. She said no. Instead, she did this, which is a way of saying hello and goodbye in Japanese. You guys know I'm a big fan of Japanese culture, so I kind of, got excited when I saw this. So then, after that, though, when Asuka did the same thing in response, Zelina then took this opportunity to attack Asuka. All right, got some quick punches in. So clearly, this rivalry is going to continue. I don't know if it's going to carry into Hell in a Cell. Like I said, WWE has a lot of time, a lot of space between Hell in a Cell and Clash of Champions. We have a whole month. Most pay-per-views only get 3 weeks to build, but we actually have a whole month. Plus, we have the WWE draft. So I think we will see a rematch between Zelina and Asuka. Maybe tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. You guys know how they love doing their rematches there. Maybe, a couple weeks from now. But definitely, I am intrigued about this. Do I think Zelina's going to take the title from Asuka? No. Maybe one day Zelina will be ready to become Women's Champion. And I'm very proud of her and her performance tonight. And definitely, hopefully, WWE keeps building Zelina up going forward, because she is very talented. It's that simple. All right, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on, we had the Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews for the U.S. Championship. I like to call this the battle of the bald black guys. The battle of the bald black munchkins, in a way. Now I'm hungry for some chocolate munchkins. Anyway, getting into it. So, basically, I did not have Apollo Crews winning this match. I don't think any of us had Apollo Crews winning this match. And, it's not that I didn't care about this match. It's just that it was so predictable. I've been saying this. The second that Apollo lost that championship, he's never regaining it. I don't know if Apollo's ever regaining another championship in WWE. You know what I would do? You know what? And I say this all the time. WWE needs tag teams more than ever. You want to continue this whole thing with Apollo and Ricochet and Cedric Alexander and them? Put them all in the tag team division. The tag team division needs teams. And yes, we do have the WWE draft. And yes, I do expect some people from NXT to get called up to the main roster. But I don't think there will be many teams because, like I said, NXT's tag team division is weak as hell. And that's on WWE. That's on NXT. That's on Vince. That's on everybody. The tag team division right now in WWE has never been as weak as it is right now. And it's sad to say that, but I got to be honest. I gotta be honest. And I'm looking at my phone right now. I'm trying to find a list of WWE's tag teams because I had it preloaded earlier in the night for tonight's podcast. But it's legit. I'm looking at it right now. It's less than 10 teams on the main roster. And it doesn't even feel like that. It feels like more like there's only 4 teams. I would put Apollo Crews and Ricochet in the Raw Tag Team division, along with Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Business, and actually, build them up. Because right now, we're seeing the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. The same shit we've been seeing since WrestleMania, bro. Like, come on. And I love the Street Profits, but I hate the way their Tag Team Championship reign is gone. But WWE doesn't care because all WWE cares about saying is, oh, the Street Profits, the longest reigning Raw Tag Team Champions of all time. Even though they faced basically one team their entire reign. But yet, that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter. It's all my intelligence. Yeah. But either way, with the Bobby Lashley Apollo Crews match, like I said, it wasn't a bad match. We all know Apollo was good in the ring. So was Bobby Lashley. We knew it was going to be a decent match, but there was nothing special here. It was just basic. There was almost nothing that they did from Payback a couple weeks ago that they didn't do on this match tonight. Absolutely nothing. We've seen this match 4 or 5 times just this summer alone. So there was nothing special here with the match. I'm not saying the match was bad or anything. Just wasn't anything special. Lastly, won with the Hurt Lock, aka the Full Nelson, and that's how the match ended. All right. So lastly, retains. I see in the chat, Jazz says I want Apollo to turn heel. I'm not against it, and I would love to see the Hurt Business expand a little bit more. But the thing about it is, WWE, man, they don't know how to book people. I don't know if you can make me believe in Apollo heel turn. With Cedric Alexander, and Cedric was not even on the pay-per-view tonight, the way they explained it is MVP has big things planned for Cedric Alexander. Maybe, like I said, I would not be surprised if we see Cedric and Shelton Benjamin get into the tag team division. Definitely that could be a formidable feud against the Street Profits. I can get invested in that. The Hurt Business trying to get all the gold on Monday Night Raw. But either way, man, the Hurt Business, man, you got to continue building them up because I was not happy with the way they were treated on Monday Night Raw, especially in that terrible match with the Retribution. And don't get me started on Retribution, man. Like, if you guys saw the Monday Night Raw review last week, man, I do not like Retribution at all. I don't like how they're booked, nothing. But, like I said, I'm not against an Apollo heel turn. I just don't know if WWE could execute it correctly because WWE doesn't really know how to execute things. They really don't. It's not their strong suit. The Cedric Alexander's heel turn so far is working, but would it be the same, for Ricochet, for Apollo Crews? I don't know. But, definitely it's going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see about that. Hopefully this feud is done. I don't want to see another match. Apollo already lost clean tonight, so he doesn't deserve another match. Maybe they do Bobby Lashley and Ricochet. How about you do Bobby Lashley versus Mustafa Ali? You have Mustafa Ali killing it on WWE Main Event every week. They're naming the show after him. If you saw Ali's social media, he's calling it Main Event Ali. And I love Mustafa Ali, man, but definitely he should be on the main roster. He should be built up as one of the top stars on Monday Night Raw, not on Main Event. He should not be there at all. All right, but we'll see what happens. But I definitely think most likely the most logical thing that's going to happen is we're probably going to see Lashley versus Ricochet next. But definitely Lashley retains, and that is that. We had 24/7 champion R-Truth. He was dressed, I don't know what he was dressed as. He was dressed as some kind of farmer, old man's farmer, walking around with little Jimmy. Charlie Caruso had to remind R-Truth, since this was Classic Champions, the 24/7 championship could be defended at any time. So he was backstage. He walked inside the referees lounge. Then he walked into another room and then got distracted, blamed it on Lil Jimmy, and then he got rolled up by Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak's the new 24/7 champion. I'm not sure Maybe later on in the night, I think R-Truth may have gotten the title back, but I wasn't paying attention or anything. But if someone in the chat, if you guys saw, remind me, or just let me know if that happened or not. Not that it's really important, but, just for factual sake. But, yeah. Next up, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match. We had the Street Profits versus Garza and Andrade. This is Garza Andrade's first title match without Zelina Vega. But it's not like I gave a shit. Why would I give a shit? We've seen this match like 20,000 times since WrestleMania. I do not care. You guys should not care. Nobody cares about this match. Nobody. This is what I'm talking about. This is why WWE needs to merge the tag team divisions. Because you have shit like this going on. Why the hell would anybody care about a match we've been seeing since WrestleMania? If Garza and Andrade couldn't get the job done back then, why would they get the job done now? Especially without having Zelina Vega in their corner. Someone explain that to me. Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. But anyway, we had the match. I will say this. The Street Profits did cut a really good promo. They compared Garza and Andrade to the LA Clippers. All hype but no substance. The Clippers were my pick to win the NBA championship this year. And we all saw how that lasted. And my Celtics just got eliminated. So, let's stop talking about basketball now. But still, I did like that comparison here. But the match wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything special. We've seen this match at WWE Payback. We've seen this match at SummerSlam. We saw it at WrestleMania. We saw it on Monday Night Raw how many times? There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that these two teams can do that they have not done already. That's what I'm talking about. Thank God we have a draft coming in a week and a half. Because I complain about it every week on the Monday Night Raw reviews. Rinse and repeat garbage. That's what WWE is. Rinse and repeat garbage. Seeing the same matches on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Seeing the same matches on pay-per-views. It's not good whatsoever. WWE needs to, merge the tag team divisions and really get these two teams away from one another. If WWE does merge the tag team divisions, still, Garza and Andrade need to be on the option show from the Street Profits. It's that simple. No one wants to see that anymore. Like, for real. Nobody wants to see this match. So the match ended. We saw Dawkins, he went for the cash out and he hit it. And Andrade kicked out at 2.5, but the referee wasn't looking and he just counted the 3. So clearly that was a botched call. I don't know if, that was supposed to be the play. If Andrade, botched it, I don't know if Andrade was supposed to kick out or, it was supposed to be a clean 1, 2, 3 because it was Dawkins' finisher. I don't think the referee botched the call, but I don't know. For all we know, this could be WWE trying to get us another match between these two teams. Because I'm willing to bet we'll probably get the same match tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Because WWE doesn't know how to do anything special or anything unique. It's really that simple at the end of the day, guys. But we'll wait and see. But trust me, man. I would not be surprised if we see this match again for the 20 millionth time tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. I hope I'm wrong. But still, wouldn't be surprised if I'm right in this situation because it's WWE. They don't know, any better. But this was a botch call. We'll see what happens. Whatever. Right? Whatever. All right. Getting into the big part of the podcast. All right, because everything that happened from here on out, I actually enjoyed about this show. All right, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship, we had the Universal title, and we had the WWE Championship. So from here on out, this was actually a really good pay-per-view. All right, plus you had the triple threat ladder match at the beginning of the show. But as we talked about earlier, Nikki Cross was supposed to be facing Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship, but she wasn't medically cleared, so I'm guessing she probably tested positive for COVID. That would make the most sense here. But, like I said, if we get any information on that, I will report it to you guys on tomorrow's podcast on the Monday Night Raw review. But there's people thinking, Bayley needs a replacement, right? So I was thinking potentially Alexa Bliss, right? I thought Alexa Bliss should have been the number one contenders to begin with because you guys know I'm not an Alexa Bliss fan, even though I've met Alexa Bliss and she's really nice in person. I am not a big fan of her character at all. But what she's been doing with this whole, the feed gimmick, is the best work of her career easily. This is the most invested I've been in Alexa Bliss at any point in her main roster career. And that's saying something, because I've said some really harsh things about Alexa Bliss in the past on this podcast. But what they've been doing with her character as of late has been phenomenal, and I thought she should have got the opportunity. We've seen Bayley versus Nikki Cross how many times? Why the fuck would we care? It's like the same thing with the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel Garza. If Nikki Cross couldn't get the job done back then, why would she get the job done now? Explain that to me. All right, like for real. But either way, Bayley comes out and basically she's been walking around with that chair these last couple of weeks ever since he attacked Sasha. But she puts the chair in the middle of the ring. She put her title on the chair, which I kind of liked. So then Bayley starts talking to, like, Nikki Cross, we all knew you weren't going to beat me to begin with, but I would have rather had beat you here in the ring than it went by forfeit. So that was pretty cool. Because no one, not even Nikki Cross, there was nobody that thought that Nikki Cross was going to get the dub. And remember, now that I think of it, if Nikki Cross wasn't even on SmackDown on Friday. So I don't know if that was already a result of COVID or something else, but definitely we will follow up on that story. But nobody believed that Nikki Cross had any chance here. Any chance, But basically she gloated about how she's the most dominant champion in WWE, which you can make an argument for since she is about to hit 1 year as SmackDown Women's Champion. Basically, she gloated. Then she also asked for a referee to come into the ring and raise her hand, just declare that she won by forfeit, because she did offer an open challenge, but nobody answered. But then as she was leaving the ring, Asuka's music plays. So Asuka, who we just saw not even less than an hour ago. Oh, hold on. We're going to take a pause for a second. I'm just seeing this now. JQ James with a super chat donation of $10. I believe JQ, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you give us a $20 donation during SummerSlam? JQ's always giving donations to the channel. He's one of the most loyal subscribers here. He's right up there with my boy Jazz, with Junior and Joe. I'm forgetting some of your names, guys. And NBA YouTube. Definitely, I notice all my subscribers. I notice you guys, all right? When you guys comment on the video, when you guys leave a like, I notice you guys. You guys are what keeps me going. So definitely, I thank you guys for the support. JQ James, definitely one of the most loyal subscribers here. $10 super chat. I appreciate the donation. Like I say this, if you guys want to donate, you guys can. I'm not going to force you guys. I never even asked for donations. But definitely when you guys do it, it really warms my heart, because it shows that what I'm doing is actually positive and it makes me appreciate it. But JQ James, $10 super chat. So far, Sasha and Bayley have been great. I really hope to God WWE doesn't find a way to F this up. If they do, I will never forgive WWE for it. At this point, WWE might as well give up women's wrestling. All right, bro, I see what you mean. And I don't think Sasha and Bayley will let WWE fuck this up, because this is a feud that not only we as fans have been waiting for 5 years since NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, but they have been waiting for this story. They've been waiting for the right moment to give us this match, to give us this story, and now we're going to get it. And I am so hyped for it. But we'll talk about Sasha in just a couple moments, bro. Basically, Asuka comes out, and for a split second, I wasn't really surprised that Asuka came out. For a split second, I was thinking, could WWE be merging the women's divisions? But I was like, nah, they're not going to do that. Especially with Sasha and Bayley yet to happen. They're not going to do that. If any division needs to be merged, it needs to be the tag team divisions. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, you can make an argument for the women's divisions, but If there's one division that must be merged together, it's the tag team divisions more than anything. But Asuka came out. I knew that Asuka was not going to win here, but I was like, okay, Asuka just won earlier in the night. She just retained her championship. Would it make sense for her to lose, even though, 90% of us knew that she was not going to win the championship anyway, because this was a last-minute replacement? But I was also thinking Bayley can't lose either. She's just about to embark in the biggest feud of her career with Sasha Banks, and she's just about to hit 1 year as SmackDown Women's Champion. So she can't lose either. So the match wasn't anything special. Like, it's Asuka and Bayley, yes, they're great, but this only went on for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Remember, Asuka just had a match earlier in the evening. She was going up against a fresh Bayley, but Asuka got some offense in here. We saw, she got a Bayley in an armbar, then transitioned into the Asuka lock. Then Bayley grabbed the bottom rope, and then Bayley then grabbed a chair and used it on Asuka to cause a DQ. So I was like, really? Even though what happened after the DQ was the big talking point and we're all going to talk about, but really? Did we really have to do a DQ finish? If this was what you were going to do to begin with, what was the point of even putting Asuka in the match? I would have much rather have seen Bayley squash Lacey Evans or beat Alexa Bliss or beat anybody else that have a DQ finish like that. That doesn't make Bayley look good. That makes Bayley, even though she's a heel, it doesn't make Bayley look good. It doesn't make Asuka look good. It doesn't do anything for anybody. It really doesn't. So if that was what you wanted to go with the entire time, and we knew that Bayley was going to defeat Nikki Cross anyway, but if that's what you were going for the entire time, you should have never put Asuka in that situation to begin with. Never. All right? That's my thoughts on that. But the big talking point would happen right afterwards. Afterwards, Bayley is gloating, holding up the SmackDown Women's Championship. And out of nowhere, even though it was predictable, because we knew this was either going to happen tonight on Clash of Champions or Friday on SmackDown, Sasha Banks, the best female wrestler in the world, made her return to the WWE Thunderdome, and she blasted Bayley with a chair shot from behind. Sasha was wearing some track gear. She wasn't in ring gear at all, but Sasha was looking like a badass here. Bro, Sasha also was selling the neck injury from the attack from Bayley, so I like that. And, Sasha's face told the entire story. I said this a couple weeks ago when Sasha cut that amazing promo on Bayley. Sasha's facial looks and, the faces she makes can tell a story so good. So good. She's so great at telling a story with just her emotions, bro, and just her facial expressions. This was fantastic. So Sasha grabs a kendo stick, and Bayley retreated. Bayley, got a couple of hits on Sasha, but Sasha was able to reverse everything. And then Bayley was retreating up the entranceway while Sasha was in the ring, and then right at the very end we finally see Sasha crack a smile. So Sasha is back, and I'm so happy for it, even though it was kind of predictable because there was no way they were leaving Sasha off TV. She's a ratings grab. Everyone knows that Sasha versus Bayley is a big money match, and WWE doesn't know anything about patience. They don't know patience. Even though the biggest stage for this match to happen would be at WrestleMania, but clearly, they're gonna give us the match at Hell in a Cell. We know where this is going. We know that WWE wants to do 2 Hell in a Cell matches, and right now we know that Sasha and Bayley is gonna be one of them. All right, I'm just waiting. They might as well just confirm it. For, Hell in a Cell this Friday on SmackDown, because we all know it's happening. For the other match, it could be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, or it could be Roman Reigns, most likely going up against The Fiend, which we'll talk about those scenarios in a little bit. But clearly, man, Sasha looked great here. And like I said, this is the Sasha we need. So for right now, I know some people were asking, oh, is Sasha's theme song going to go back to normal? Like, is she going to go back to her pre-heel theme song? Like I said, I do miss that theme song, but I have no problem with the Snoop Dogg remix. They're both great. All right, but right now, this is the Sasha we need. That badass Sasha. She's good at drawing sympathy, but we need a badass Sasha. She does not need to be like Becky Lynch and have a whole character change. But what you need her to be is be a badass that pulls no punches, that's going to come out, whoop your ass, get the job done, take your title, and leave. That's the Sasha we need. And that's exactly the Sasha we got tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how they could, they go about this. We have 4 weeks till Hell in a Cell. 4 weeks. And let me look at my calendar real quick. All right, we have SmackDown this Friday, which is the 2nd. The week after that, we have the first day of the WWE draft. Then we have another SmackDown. Then we have another SmackDown. And then we have a final SmackDown. So, legit, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because Hell in a Cell is not until November 1st. We have 5 weeks. 5 weeks of build. 5 SmackDowns from now to Hell in a Cell. Like I said, you have plenty of time to build up Sasha and Bayley. It should be the main event of Hell in a Cell, to be honest. All right, you can make an argument for Drew versus Randy or Roman versus The Fiend, but honestly, the main event should be Sasha versus Bayley. It's the number one story in all of WWE right now. We've all been waiting for it for how many years now, right? We all saw all the talk on social media and the ratings that SmackDown got when Bayley turned on Sasha Banks. It's the number one thing, and they deserve the biggest stage possible for a match we've all been waiting for. Yes, what I wish WWE would have Sasha versus Bayley take place at WrestleMania, but I know they're not patient. They're not patient whatsoever. So they're going to give us Sasha versus Bayley at Hell in a Cell, and the build's going to be remarkable. I cannot wait to see, the contract signing, the promos, the backstage brawls we're going to see with these two ladies over the next 5 weeks. It's going to be absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. And I know Sasha and Bayley have a role in how this story goes. So definitely I hope, WWE is listening to the pitches that they give, because this is something we've all been waiting for. And I cannot wait to see what happens. Will Sasha win at Hell in a Cell? Bro, if you guys saw my fantasy booking, I fantasy booked this match, I don't know how many times. I fantasy booked this feud so many times, bro. But Sasha should win at Hell in a Cell, right? She should have never lost to Charlotte. She should have never lost to Becky inside Hell in a Cell. But definitely I feel like that is going to be a story going into this match, because this will be Bayley's first time inside Hell in a Cell. Sasha has been inside Hell in a Cell twice, going into her third time. Bayley can be saying stuff like, you've never won the Hell in a Cell match. But yet Sasha can be like, you don't know what it's like to be inside Hell in a Cell. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Who knows? We may even have fans for this match, because I know WWE's Thunderdome contract expires at the end of October. Plus, WWE wants to start touring again. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if states and venues are going to be even open to having them tour. But it's going to be interesting. But I definitely think having live fans for Hell in a Cell would be great. And I would love to see it. And I hope WWE, goes down that direction. But we'll have to wait and see. By that. But I'm excited for this feud. Sasha should win at Hell in a Cell. But I want to see this feud go all the way to WrestleMania. I'm going to say this once. Sasha and Bayley is not a feud that is a one and done. This is a feud we've been waiting 5 years for. This is one of the most hyped feuds in the history of the women's division. And I think Sasha versus Bayley at Hell in a Cell has a chance to be match of the year. So there is no way that you can only do one match and call it. And I know, yes, we have Hell in a Cell. Then we have Survivor Series in November. We also have TLC. We have Royal Rumble. And we have Elimination Chamber and then WrestleMania. So we're still a long ways away. But, I think Sasha versus Bayley can go all the way to WrestleMania. Sasha should win at Hell in a Cell. And then there's so many different directions you can go. You can have Bayley injure Sasha again. So Sasha has to vacate the Women's Championship per storyline because of injury. I don't want to see Bayley win at Hell in a Cell, but if she does, I won't be mad. It would be interesting to see how they do it. But there's so many ways that they can go with this. I am hyped. So definitely I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos on this as, the feud goes on, because I'm so excited for it. But definitely, man. Plus, I got to say this. Can we get some better Sasha Banks merch, please? Like Liv Morgan, I said this a couple weeks ago. I think I said this. I may have said on the Payback review. But Liv Morgan has some amazing gear on the WWE shop right now. Like Sasha Banks, I know they just released a new shirt for her, but I know WWE can do a lot better. A lot better. We need some epic Sasha Banks merch, especially for this new badass babyface run she's going on. Ashley says Hell in a Cell is October 25th. WWE changed it, bro. WWE changed it. Go on Google. They changed it to November 1st. It was quietly changed, but it was changed and added, or pushed to another week. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Sasha and Bayley. And definitely I am excited for it, and I cannot wait to see where they go with this going into Hell in a Cell. It should be the main event of Hell in a Cell. Nothing else has more hype than this feud. All right. Moving on. We have the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in an ambulance match. This was another match on the card that we've seen multiple times. But still, it wasn't anything special, but it wasn't bad. It was a good match. First of all, I didn't agree with the ambulance match stipulation, but I read reports that WWE was thinking about doing this because they wanted Randy Orton to take the WWE Championship, and they wanted to do it without Drew McIntyre looking weak. They didn't want him getting pinned or submitted. But that was not the case, and we're going to get into it right now. So, basically, I loved it. So, Randy Orton had a very, very long entrance. He walked out super slow to the ring, methodical. It reminded me of OG Randy Orton, because Randy doesn't do that much these days. But he took his time getting into the ring, and you could tell his head was in the game and he was ready to go. So then Drew McIntyre came out. McIntyre was that serious. I've never seen Drew McIntyre this serious, man. He was staring a hole down through Randy Orton. He would not take his eyes off him. And then there was a moment at the beginning of the match where Drew, when the ref took away the WWE Championship, Drew kissed it. And I really thought Drew was going to lose this match. I was like, oh, there it is. There's WWE telling you that Drew McIntyre is losing the WWE Championship. Because the way Drew was looking at that title, he stared at it for a good, 10, 15 seconds. Like he did not want to let it go. But that was not the case. And let's get into it. So these two went at it from the jump. Orton hit a DDT out of nowhere. And you can see McIntyre did a really good job of selling the jaw injury. And then we see Orton looked like he was willing to end this early by taking McIntyre out with another punt kick. But he set up for the punt, but out of nowhere, we see a big hand, no pun necessary, but we see a big hand show up on the screen, and all of a sudden, it's the Big Show. At first I was like, is that Keith Lee? But then I had to smack myself because I was like, Keith Lee's black. I can't be making those mistakes. But, we see out of nowhere, Big Show appears, and I was like, what? So then Big Show hit a chokeslam from Orton, dragging him. He dragged Randy Orton out of the ring and hit him with a chokeslam on top of the announce table. All right. Then, McIntyre was smiling. McIntyre kept up with the intensity, and, they started fighting their way towards the ambulance. So then we saw McIntyre grab, a red steel chair they took from the back of the ambulance. And I was like, this is different, right? You don't usually see chairs and WWE, objects inside an ambulance, but whatever. So then McIntyre was beating the crap out of Orton with the chair, but then Orton hit him with a crutch to turn the tables. Then both men ended up inside the ambulance for a couple seconds, but then they fought out of it. Then we saw Orton attempted to slam the door of the ambulance on McIntyre's head, but then McIntyre hit him with a vicious headbutt. So then we saw McIntyre try to hit Orton with a Claymore kick, but instead he claymored the ambulance door. So, then, McIntyre's over here selling a right leg injury. So I was like, McIntyre, there's no way he's coming back from this, because he clambered the shit out of that door. But anyway, the two start fighting backstage. Then Orton threw McIntyre into a wall. But out of nowhere, after Orton throws McIntyre into a wall, we see another appearance from another legend that Orton took out this summer. And it was Christian. Christian came out of nowhere and he beat the shit out of Orton, throwing him through some catering snacks, getting some payback for what happened earlier this year. So definitely, that was enjoyable. All right. So then Orton and McIntyre continue fighting towards outside back to the ambulance area. Then we saw Orton slam McIntyre's head into a windshield, shattered it, and he covered. So then we saw Orton and McIntyre. Then they start fighting on top of the ambulance. And you can see McIntyre had cuts in his back. He was bleeding in his back from the cuts. So definitely he's going to be feeling that tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if some broken glass got into his body. But then we saw Orton stand on top of the ambulance looking confident. He threw McIntyre down, but out of nowhere, Shawn Michaels, the HBK Sizzle, Heartbreak Kid, super kicked the shit. He super kicked the shit out of McIntyre. Or not McIntyre, Randy Orton, my bad. So now another legend getting revenge on Randy Orton. So we saw Big Show chokeslam Orton through a table. We saw Christian send Orton through catering. Then we saw Shawn Michaels super kick Randy Orton on top of the ambulance. All right. Then afterwards, Michaels threw Randy Orton down from the ambulance through a table that was on the other side. So then we saw Drew McIntyre get back into the picture. He tried to drag Orton towards the ambulance, but Randy hit him with a devastating RKO on the concrete. He rode McIntyre in and closed one of the doors, but he was not able to close the others because right at the last second, McIntyre with that whole adrenaline rush he always gets at the end of these matches. We saw McIntyre. He opened the door, forced his way out, and then he hit a Claymore kick out of nowhere on Orton. Then he threw Orton in, and when it looked like he was about to close the door, he was not done yet. I thought this would come back to bite McIntyre in the ass, but it didn't. He did his own version of the Randy Orton punt kick. Looked absolutely devastating. Orton, now knocked unconscious, got sealed through the ambulance, and McIntyre closes the door, and he retains the WWE Championship. So this wasn't bad. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't bad. I love the intensity shown from these two. McIntyre retains, what kind of surprised me. I'm not complaining or anything. McIntyre's been a great WWE champion. Even though, WWE has made mistakes with him here and there, he's been a dominant WWE champion, and I've come to love and respect him a lot, especially throughout this year. But we saw McIntyre. He didn't even look like he wanted to celebrate, but he was happy and content with the work being done. As the ambulance rode out of the arena, we saw Ric Flair. He was revealed to be the driver of the ambulance, getting his payback on Orton by driving him to the hospital. All right. The only legend that we didn't see that Orton's had contact with was Edge. There was a couple seconds there I was like, are we going to see Edge? Is Edge going to spear Orton or something like that? Clearly, we're going to get another match between Orton and McIntyre. Well, not McIntyre. We're going to get another match with Orton and Edge, most likely at WrestleMania next year. Will it be for the WWE Championship? I don't know. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love Orton. I love McIntyre, but they should not be having another match. This match should end the feud right there. It really shouldn't. I mean, it really should. Like what? Like, even though Orton and McIntyre versus at Hell in a Cell would be great, but the thing about it is, you had all those legends come back tonight to get payback on Randy Orton, and then you had McIntyre get payback by not only hitting Orton with a Claymore kick, but doing Randy Orton's own move against him with the punt kick. So tell me, as great as Randy Orton is, he doesn't deserve another shot. He goes to the back of the line. He had two opportunities. He lost clean via roll-up at SummerSlam, right? He lost at SummerSlam, and then he lost tonight in the ambulance match. So I'm sorry, but Orton does not deserve an opportunity. The feud's done. It's time to move McIntyre on to something else. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm trying to think. I don't know if is there anybody for McIntyre to face? He defeated Seth Rollins already. He defeated Bobby Lashley. He defeated Dolph Ziggler. He defeated Randy Orton now twice. He defeated Brock Lesnar. I don't know who McIntyre faces at Hell in a Cell. Maybe Keith Lee? I don't know. But, I don't even know if I want to see McIntyre versus Keith Lee. We just saw it 2 weeks in a row on Monday Night Raw. So if I'm being honest, I don't even know if I want to see that match. But let me know in the comment section, or if you guys are in the chat, let me know who should McIntyre's next opponent be. We do have a WWE draft coming up. So there's definitely ways, maybe AJ Styles comes back, or maybe Daniel Bryan, right? Those are names that I would love to see Drew McIntyre face, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know. But I would not be surprised if we get Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton at what is it called? At Hell in a Cell, but we shouldn't be getting the match. It doesn't make sense. What would have made more sense is Randy Orton winning the title tonight and then us getting the end of this feud at Hell in a Cell. I'm happy that Drew won, yes, but think about it is I have a feeling that we're going to probably get this match at Hell in a Cell and it doesn't deserve it. Or not that it doesn't deserve it, it's just that it doesn't make any sense. Because Orton's now lost twice to Drew McIntyre. He shouldn't be getting another championship opportunity. All right, even though we know that we're going to get Randy Orton versus Edge at some point, most likely WrestleMania, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us to get Drew McIntyre and Orton again at Hell in a Cell. But we'll wait and see. We still have the draft in a couple weeks, so maybe somebody from SmackDown or maybe even NXT, who knows? Maybe Adam Cole gets called up to challenge Drew McIntyre. I wouldn't mind that, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see what happens here with McIntyre. But his dominant WWE Championship run continues, and that's about that. Getting into the main event, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal Championship. This was great. I'm not going to lie. Even though everybody coming into this match knew that Jey Uso was not winning the title. He's not meant to be a world champion. He's one of the best. He's one half of one of the best tag teams in WWE history. One of my favorite tag teams in the Usos. He's fantastic. But he was never meant to be a champion. A singles champion. A main roster champion. It's that simple. All right? But the storyline going in, family versus family, Jey Uso challenging, his cousin, the big dog, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. I like that. I like that nickname, the tribal chief, man. But, the promos that have, that these two have cut going into this match, I didn't do a SmackDown review, but Jey Uso saying, why can't it be me? I'm tired of people asking, which one are you? Because he said, at Clash Champions, it's going to be me. Absolutely a brilliant promo. Then Roman Reigns hitting him with the Superman punch and sitting on stage saying, you're going to get this paycheck, right? You're going to get this paycheck, but you're also going to get the ass beating that comes with it. Because I have to be the tribal chief. My family and this company needs me to be the tribal chief. I am loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns' heel turn. I'm loving it. The only thing I got to say is Roman needs to come out in a suit when he's not wrestling. Roman came out tonight, finally ditched that horrendous vest. The vest that I've been bitching about for 6 years now. He finally got rid of it. He finally showed up those abs, the beautiful tattoo, his physique. Roman Reigns is absolutely ripped to shreds. Ripped to shreds. But, man, I love what they're doing with Roman Reigns, man. But I needed him to come out with a suit. He needs new music, and that's about it. That's about it. But I'm loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now. But, man, Man, my boy texted me saying tomorrow I joined the Legion. Oh my gosh. My boy said now that the Celtics are out of the playoffs, he's gonna join the Legion, which is my groups of fans, they call it the LeBron James chain gang. It's basically just a bunch of LeBron dick riders, but oh man, that is sad. That is sad, man. Ugh. Celtics fan joining the Legion. I'm disgusted. Anyway, getting back into it, man. The story going into this match was absolutely brilliant. And even though we all knew that Jey Uso was not going to win, this was more about Roman Reigns than Jey Uso. Roman going up against his family and turning on his family because he feels like him remaining as the tribal chief and remaining Universal Champion is more important. I love what they're doing with Roman Reigns' character right now, man. So, like I said, Roman had no expression on his face as he walked to the ring. Jey had, I forget what it's called, those like Hawaiian little necklaces. I forget what they're called, but he was wearing one of those, and that would come into play near the end of this match. So the ref called for the bell, and the cousins were circling around each other. Uso said it didn't have to go down like this before they locked up. Roman backed him into a corner and made a clean break, but did not back away. You know, he forced Uso to go around him to get back in the middle of the ring. Disrespectful. So Roman this whole time is being like, I'm the tribal chief. You're my bitch. No matter if you're my family, you're still my bitch. And you're going to do whatever I say. All right? So, man, I love this. So they locked up again. Reigns tossed Jey across the ring. Jey knew that he didn't have Jimmy in his corner, but he didn't let that get to him. Michael Cole and Corey Graves did great on commentary for this match. They were talking about, Jay's not meant to be in this position. This is the most important moment of his career, and yet he looks surprised. He looks overwhelmed. So good commentary and analysis from the commentators. Like I said, I love that nickname, the Tribal Chief. So the Tribal Chief choked him on the top rope and knocked him off the apron with a huge uppercut. I like the offense by Roman Reigns. You could tell he's gotten better as a performer. So Reigns said he loved Jey as he slammed it on his head, but he said he had to remain the Tribal Chief. So Jey hit a Samoan drop out of nowhere for a 2 count, but anytime that Jey would build up some momentum, Reigns would knock him back down. Then Jey shoved Reigns into the ring post to give himself time to recover. He clotheslined Reigns out of the ring and hit a suicide dive. He kicked Reigns out of the ring for a second suicide dive, but then we saw Roman go for a Rough Rider. Yes, Zack Ryder's own move. Reigns hit a Rough Rider. It didn't look, amazing just because Reigns is a big dude. That's a move meant more for, smaller superstars. But still, the fact that Reigns pulled off the move, man, I enjoyed it. It looked good. It shows Reigns is, evolving as a superstar. So then we saw Uso. He hit a super kick. Then he hit the splash for a close kick out at 2.5. But then we saw, and this was great storytelling, Roman, as he kicked out, he hit Jey in the balls in the danger area as he was kicking out. So it was a low blow while the ref was distracted. We didn't know if it was intentional, but we'll call it intentional because Reigns is a heel now. So then he hit a spear. So Reigns could have easily ended the match right there. He hit the spear, match should have been done. 1, 2, 3, wreck everyone and leave, like Roman Reigns has been saying, rhyming accidentally. But he wanted Jey to call him the Tribal Chief, but then Jey, being the babyface, being the underdog, refused to do it. So then he decided to hit Jey with a second spear. He goes again, tells his cousin, all you got to do is call me the Tribal Chief and this can be over. Reigns got frustrated and angry that Jey refused to call him the Tribal Chief. Paul Heyman, the special counsel, as they're calling him, to the Tribal Chief, stands on the outside the ring, and he's like, you are my Tribal Chief. And Reigns is like, nah, Sway. He got to call me Tribal Chief. This is a family matter, right? So he's like, I don't care if you call me Tribal Chief. I want him to do it. I want my blood to recognize who's the one that's the boss of this family. Who's the one at the head of the table. Loving this, bro. Loving this. All right, so basically after that, we see Roman. He's hitting huge blows on Jay. Huge blows. I feel like another element that would have been great is if Jay Uso got bloodied in this. I would have loved that if, and Reigns had busted him up. That would have been even more spectacular. But this was great. So then we see Jimmy Uso, who's still injured. We know that he won't be coming back till early next year. But still, he limped to the ring. He was there tonight in support of his cousin. So he limped to the ring and said that he wanted to throw in the towel for his brother. But Jay told him not to. But Reigns said all of this could stop if Jimmy acknowledged Reigns' position at the head of the table. So then Reigns is standing there like, okay, your twins out here. My other cousin's out here now. Not only is Jay going to call me the tribal chief, not only is he going to recognize me as the head of the table, but you're going to as well. And Jimmy, if you don't recognize me as the head of the table, I'm going to keep beating your brother's ass. All right, so Roman, he don't care at this point. He do not care, and I'm absolutely loving this. So then Jay begged his brother not to, but Reigns dragged Jay because Jimmy was holding his brother's hand, like saying, I gotta do it, man. I gotta protect you, man. But Jay told him not to. But so then Roman says, fuck this, drags Jay back into the ring, continues to beat out of him. Paul Heyman is screaming at Jimmy, throw in the towel, save your brother. All right. And Jimmy had no choice but to throw in the towel, stop the match for his brother, save him from the beating he was getting. Absolute fantastic storytelling here. So, it makes Jimmy and Jay look that much better as a babyface team coming out of this, especially Jay, because this was his big moment. He looked great in this match tonight, and the fact that he persevered and he did not give up, and he refused to admit defeat and refused to, suck up to the bully, which was his brother. Even though Roman is the head of the tribal chief, no matter he's the king of the island, no matter what else you want to call him, the head of the table, king of the family, whatever you want to call him, it doesn't matter. Roman looked like a bully tonight, and it looked really good. I loved it. After the bell, Jimmy comes into the ring, right? And he's looking at his brother, and he's like, what are you doing, man? We're family, man. Why you gotta be like this? And then Jimmy says what his brother wouldn't say. He says, you're the tribal chief, okay? Is that what you want him to hear? To stop it, man. Stop it. So I'm loving Roman turning his back on his family because he feels like being the tribal chief, being the Universal Champion is more important. I'm loving it. And Corey Graves said, fantastic line. Corey Graves said, if Roman was willing to do that to his own blood to retain the Universal Championship, imagine what he would do to everybody else in the locker room, which is facts. Great way to end this. I am loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now. Loving it. The fact that he's, not even wrestling with the vest anymore is great. Fantastic. But it's even better. It's even better now with what they're doing, with this whole tribal chief situation, man. I love it. I love it. They need to change his entrance music, right? And I need him to start wearing suits to the ring. That's all I need now. And then the heel turn is complete. I know Roman did a couple interviews this weekend, and he said, WWE fans are, have no patience for long-term booking. Yeah, right. Yeah, look in the mirror and look at Vince. He has no patience for long-term booking. I love long-term booking. I love seeing a story go on for a couple months that makes sense, right? And seeing a big result in the end. But WWE doesn't do long-term booking. There's nothing special in WWE anymore. Look at the Sasha Banks and Bayley feud. I feel like that feud should go on to WrestleMania, but I have a bad feeling it's going to be a one and done at Hell in a Cell. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just stating the obvious because this is WWE we're talking about here, right? But either way, man, I'm loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns' heel turn. Like I said, just fix those other things and we'll be off to the races. But definitely, there are other things coming I'm loving this. Loving this. At the end of the match, as Roman is holding the WWE champion or holding the Universal Championship, Paul Heyman is right beside him, and he was shocked. And we saw Roman Reigns. Remember that Hawaiian necklace Jay came to the ring with? Roman was wearing it at the end of this match. To kind of clarify, once again, symbolize how he is the head of the table, how he's the head of the family. Where did they go with Roman from here? We're most likely going to get Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt at Hell in a Cell. I don't know if we should be getting this, but still, it is the match we're going to be getting at Hell in a Cell. All right, most likely. And if Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton is not inside Hell in a Cell, then Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns will be the match inside Hell in a Cell. Most likely. All right, you have nobody else lined up. Definitely with the WWE draft, hopefully they, refresh these divisions, giving new challengers to Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, making the main event scene more lively. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes down. All right. But other than that, I'm loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns. This was great. And all in all, this was a decent pay-per-view. Wasn't, amazing or anything. But the start of the pay-per-view with the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match, absolutely fantastic. One of the best ladder matches in recent memory. And then what they do, Sasha Banks returning tonight. Love that. Also, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton wasn't bad at all. And then Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, the storytelling of the main event. Even though the match was good, but the storytelling brought this match to another level. And everybody should be proud that was involved with that production tonight. So Clash of Champions, all in all, a good pay-per-view. Will carry over into Monday Night Raw? I doubt it. But the next big thing, we got Hell in a Cell about a month away. But we have the WWE Draft. The WWE Draft is next week. So I am hyped for that because we can finally refresh these rosters. And I cannot wait to see what happens. Let me know. I am thinking about this. Potentially next week. Next week, I'm thinking maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'm thinking about doing a mock WWE draft. I did this last year. You guys remember? For people that weren't subscribed to the channel last year, you guys may have not seen this. But last year, I did do a draft or a mock draft. I did a mock draft, so I'm considering doing another one this year, and let me know if I should do that. Definitely, discuss who's to go to what brand, definitely, and it's always a fun time. Do a little bit of fancy booking here, all right? But the draft is coming. We will be dealing with that in the next week and a half, which means new layouts. As always, before we get out of here, I got to thank my boy Sal Reacts. He's the one that made the Clash of Champions layout. He makes all the layouts. So you guys are going to be seeing new layouts for Raw and SmackDown reviews. Definitely now that the rosters will be getting shaken up. So definitely, man, excited for those. But all in all, Hell in a Cell tonight wasn't a bad show. It wasn't the best show of the year, but it wasn't bad whatsoever. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of Clash of Champions tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the podcast. No matter if you guys were in the stream or you guys were watching on demand. Thank you guys so much. All right. Before you guys leave a like on the video if you guys haven't already. It puts the video in the recommended section so we can educate more casual fucks in the WWE community. As always, guys, thank you to everyone that live tweeted with me. As always, make sure to follow me down in the description on my social media page. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that bell for all notifications so you guys don't miss out on any videos. Thank you guys so much once again. Hopefully, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow night on the podcast for Monday Night Raw. As always, guys, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later.